Hello, this is Emily Willis, and welcome to my single subject PowerPoint presentation. I chose to do this particular presentation on my alternating treatment design assignment. So we'll go ahead and get started. My research question actually was studying the effects of using VitalStim versus traditional exercises for improving the pharyngeal phase of dysphagia in a 41-year-old man post-stroke in order to determine if the interventions will work to improve the patient's pharyngeal phase swallow by decreasing the number of signs and symptoms of aspiration displayed during meals. Given the research question, my claim is that it was expected that each therapy method would help the patient to reduce signs and symptoms of dysphagia, showing that each treatment method is an equally valid resource for improving pharyngeal phase swallow, as measured by reduction in signs and symptoms of pharyngeal phase dysphagia displayed by a patient during meals. The participants and environment. My participant was a 41-year-old male, 3 weeks post-stroke, and was showing signs and symptoms of pharyngeal phase dysphagia during meals, living in an assisted living in Arizona. The reason that we included him actually was that he was showing the signs and symptoms of dysphagia, but was refusing any diet modifications or modifications of the way that he eats, including positioning or safe swallow strategies to help to treat the condition. However, he would allow some treatment of the condition in that he agreed to complete any exercise to improve his condition, including the use of traditional exercises as well as treatment using VitalStim, and also agreed to attend treatment sessions with a speech-language pathologist up to 3 times per week. The design structure, the independent variables were VitalStim and pharyngeal exercises, and then the dependent variable were the signs and symptoms of pharyngeal phase dysphagia. For the design, I designed it so that the participant would be treated over the course of 15 sessions using either traditional exercises to treat pharyngeal phase dysphagia or with the VitalStim. I wanted to randomly assign one of the 2 treatment methods. So I wanted to explain how we were going to do that. And the way that we did it was by cutting up papers for 8 of each type of therapy and drawing out, like from a hat, each paper to assign the therapy to each session, therefore allowing for random assignment, but also allowing for roughly the same number of each type of treatment throughout the course of sessions. The participant was to receive a total of 3 50-minute sessions throughout the week for a total of 5 weeks of continuous therapy. The therapist met with the patient 1 day after each therapy session during a meal to count the number of signs and symptoms of dysphagia observed during that meal. And the reason that we waited for the next day was to account for any fatigue that the patient may have experienced after doing the exercises, so that we weren't counting the fatigue from the exercises that may have caused signs and symptoms of pharyngeal phase dysphagia, but that we were allowing him to recover from that before we counted those. As you can see with the results, VitalStim and traditional dysphagia exercises were both very effective at reducing the signs and symptoms of dysphagia. The neat part about the data, it shows that VitalStim and traditional exercises used to treat pharyngeal phase dysphagia were effective methods of treatment for reducing the signs and symptoms of dysphagia. I did look for a discernible difference between the effectiveness between the 2 therapies by looking for patterns, including like reduction of only one type of, reduction of symptoms during only one type of treatment, while the other treatment only showed like a maintenance of the previous reduction. But there was no data that would support that only one type of treatment showed improvement. The data showed that reductions in signs and symptoms of dysphagia were noted after each type of treatment, respectively. So in conclusion, again, this study is looking at whether treatment through VitalStim or traditional exercises for improving pharyngeal phase dysphagia will improve signs and symptoms of pharyngeal phase dysphagia in a 41-year-old man 3 weeks post-stroke who shows signs and symptoms of pharyngeal phase dysphagia during meals but refuses diet modification or other modifications such as positioning and use of safe swallow strategies while eating. And then for this particular study, the data showed that both vital stim and the use of traditional exercises to treat this pharyngeal phase dysphagia were equally effective in reducing signs and symptoms of dysphagia that the patient exhibited during monitored meals.